Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Today we will make such kind of quick overview. I'm not going to spend like yesterday a lot of time explaining a lot of things in detail. Sometimes I will do it, but as mentioned since some weeks, Phoenicia will provide tutorial videos and knowledge videos, so it will be up to you to understand all my content in the future. I will explain the weights ratio, I will show you some patterns, the same related to futures. I will show you how to hedge related to futures. We will talk about gamma walls, why gamma walls could be very interesting, or at least a nice indicator to see what could be the next tendency, price tendency, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to do always like yesterday explaining everything in detail. Phoenicia later on, it will not take that much. We are a little bit in delay with the website hub, but after the website hub in February, at least in March, we will launch the education part with the first tutorials. So it will take a little bit, but this year is absolutely key for Phoenicia, and next year will be even better. As soon as we have the website launched and online, we will provide a full roadmap so you can track what we are going to do, at what time, and when we are going to launch it. Let us talk about Bitcoin and what is happening here. As you see, we are still in that box here. We had two deviations, this one and this one. At the same time, we had two deviations to the upside. So at the moment, even if we retested the support area, the volume is almost not existent. So if we compare that to the last few, to the last month of 2022, the volume declined. And the volatility, if we check what we are doing and what we did just before, because we have a bigger box here, you can see the bigger box here, for example, we have the resistance here, and we have the support area here. And usually, also here, we had a retest here, and we had a retest here. So in the bigger box, we have another box, and yeah, we are there, and that's the main POC. We went a little bit more down, and now even that's the main POC instead of this one here. And it's fighting to push up, but it's failing always. The only thing that works very well is to liquidate high leverage positions, because someone, and I think we all know who could have a big benefit on liquidating high leverage positions, is just when the price is going down, when more shorts are coming in, push up hard, even if it's not a big price change, but enough to liquidate them. And I mean, who can have this insider information if that's not the centralized exchange? I really don't know. However, that's what's happening here. So nothing happened. Very boring. The market just feels like that. It's, as mentioned, nothing happening. I don't see any big accumulation happening at the moment. And we will see what's going to happen here. We will have a breakout to the upside or to the downside. And that's something we'll check today if we can figure out what we could expect next. Usually after retest of the resistance, they should go down to retest the support area at 16.5, maybe with a little deviation we can talk about 16.5. But we will see. Maybe they will retest the resistance at 70k once again. I really don't know, but we will check that. So let us start with the weights ratio 30 days moving average as usual. First of all, it did another leg to the upside, so this time it went even more up than last time. Interesting, but it's still indicating they are still in a preparation phase, and that's wondering me a little bit, but it is what it is. At the same time, we can see that the weights ratio 1 hour 1 day time frame declined to 49. So it's still high because the average bottom here it's below 40, so usually between 35 and 40, and so 49 it's still high, but I guess it should start to decline, and usually then something should happen, because that's usually what happens when it starts to decline. Usually that means that they stop to send more bitcoins to centralized exchanges, or at least reducing it, and next they start to unload. We will see if that happens here as well, and we will check that. 23%, last time it was 22.44, so yeah, this time it's even bigger than last time. That's really big. However, if we take a look to the 1 hour time frame, it looks absolutely different. Whales are doing everything, really everything, to let the price go up, and it's not happening. So if you check that, you know, we had this one, and even this one is big. I mean, usually it moves between 80 and 100. We spent really since yesterday almost with let the price go up, like here, to distribute afterwards. Let the price go up to distribute afterwards. That's what they are doing all the time. Still looking like distribution, not like accumulation based on the weights ratio. But the weights ratio 30 hours moving average also here indicating they declined a lot, letting the price go up, and now we will see, because it's at, I don't know, it's below 80, I would say. Yeah, it's 78. That's really low. And we remember last time it bounced here as well, and then it started to lift up, and afterwards the price declined. So even it started to decline here as well. Every time when they start to distribute, the price reacts and goes down every single time. So I really don't know. I mean, it seems that the demand is still not here, and that's absolutely not cool. Now we are moving at 87. That's okay. Everything above of 90 should bring us a bigger sell pressure and should decline the price. Not happening yet. Well, if we check, for example, the stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges, we had an average in October, for example, it was here. We are still below, and that's what we can see. So in my opinion, something should happen soon, but you know, taking into account that some people are still hunting high leverage positions, futures in general, makes the whole thing a little bit more complicated. However, I would expect that they start to send more bitcoins to centralized exchanges. Otherwise, if it declines even more, that would indicate that they are really looking an upper price level to distribute. I don't know why, but it is what it is, because they were distributing at 17k without any problem and even below. But we will see. Let us go forward. So to make a nice comparison, it makes sometimes sense to go to the 1-day time frame, especially if we are taking a look, for example, to the stable coins and to check if we are getting more stable coins, because more stable coins also means more liquidity to buy Bitcoin. But if we are checking that at the moment, we have a gap of almost 2,200 Bitcoins. So we receive more than outflows. Yesterday it was almost neutral. So 11,700 Bitcoins in, 11,850 Bitcoins out. And if we go a day before, 12,000 Bitcoins in, 8,500 Bitcoins out. So as you see, and it makes sense because balances on centralized exchanges are lifting up, and it seems they are still in preparation. So the wealth ratio is confirming it, but we are not seeing any huge difference in stablecoins. So if we received here 2.2 billions in stablecoins yesterday, that's a lot. We had an outflow of 2.2 billions of stablecoins just before. If we check that, you can see that at least the stablecoin activity rised a lot. And that's something very interesting, while the net flow maintains almost neutral. Almost. Not always, almost. So they are using some gaps, but nothing big at all. So for example, here we had a gap of almost 300 millions, and I think they're using this money just to push up the price. That's it. When the money is done, we will see if they send more, otherwise it will go down. So that's why I'm using the 1-day time frame and the 1 hour. At the moment you can see that they are cashing out. So at the moment we have 410 millions in stablecoin outflows, while only 220 millions inflows. But an hour before we had 250 millions inflows and only 20, no, not sure, 200? Oh, that's 200 millions outflows. So the gap is relatively tiny. At the same time, we have also less Bitcoin activity, flow activity. So the biggest today was 1,500 Bitcoins. That's peanuts. That's really peanuts. But even in outflows, the biggest today was 900 Bitcoins. Also absolutely peanuts. So the market is cooling down extremely. That's what I can see here related to this charts. But nothing where I would expect, I know that the preparation is maybe completed, or they are still making the last preparation phase. But usually afterwards, when they are just preparing their Bitcoins on centralized exchanges, a bearish price action should happen, or at least the volume should go up, and that's not happening yet. So they are waiting for an event, maybe next week, CPI or something. Nobody knows. Maybe they will start tonight. I mean, I was wondering SPY, SPX was going down and Bitcoin holding very well, but we know that we had references in the past, they did it, and afterwards when SPI went up, Bitcoin dumped. So we will see what's going to happen this time. So let us talk about futures and what's happening here. Well, as you can see, that looks like a roller coaster here. I mean, well, I'm speechless. However, if we zoom out, and it seems we need to zoom out to see a trend, and from here, for example, we could see a trend, it's still positive. So if we take that here, we can see that it's still intact. The trend is still intact, and it looks like that they are still demanding more longs at the moment, more than shorts. So if we take a look to the open interest and leverage ratio, we can see that it did the same. It went up, afterwards declined a lot, and it's recovering. It's doing exactly the same like the leverage ratio. It did exactly the same and now recovering. That's what we can see here. If we take a look to stablecoins and to future market, it declined a lot. We are not even talking about 100 million stablecoin inflows to derivative exchanges. That's extremely low. At the same time, bitcoins related to derivative exchanges, not even 1,000 bitcoins. I mean, I'm really speechless because all this data didn't happen all the time last year. And that's not good, guys. That's absolutely not good. A market only works with trust. When the trust is intact, the capital flows in. Something is here extremely broken because it's not happening. It's really not happening. You remember yesterday at least we had, and that was the maximum, 1,800 bitcoins. Just January 1st at least we had 2,900 bitcoins. Since then, just reducing more and more and more, and I don't get that. I really don't get that. But it is what it is. We will see. I'm still expecting some volatility coming, but it seems that the market is waiting for a trigger. If we check that here, that's the aggregated version, and we can see that the funding rate was declining and it started to lift up. While the leverage ratio lifted up, it's declining, and open interest as well lifted up and it's declining. Yesterday they liquidated 560 bitcoins in shorts and 110 bitcoins in longs. Also, that's it. Nothing big happening. But usually, if really those centralized exchanges wants to liquidate someone big, then every time we did it, we had at least some volatility. Not happening yet. Absolutely not happening. So we had here a lot of shorts, then they pushed up to decline afterwards. And they liquidated a lot of shorts first, and then they liquidated the longs. So we need to make a step up or a step down, or maybe both. That's also something they like it. However, nothing to see here because nothing changed. On Binance, roller coaster with a trend that was negative, and it seems even that's still making lower highs, but I would think that the trend is changing to up. Would also indicate that on Binance they are demanding more longs, while the open interest and leverage ratio is going up. So let us check Blockchain Whispers. On Blockchain Whispers we still have a 60 to 40. That's still bearish because we still have a lot of longs there, but shorts are coming in. On Ethereum it looks healthier. However, we have more shorts here than longs. We have 48 to 52. Shorts on Bitfinex reducing more, but that's, If we check now the liquidation map on the Kingfisher, we see, as expected, something changed, but yeah, I mean, we have 50 million potentially, and that's the maximum here, 50 million liquidation. Those 50 millions are here, for example. So we need to go to 11,500 to liquidate them. It's not going to happen. Not yet. Or even 25. It's not going to happen. Not today. So at the moment, to go up more, it wouldn't make sense, because we need to go to 17K and then we will start to liquidate some. But it doesn't make sense, because to liquidate all of them, we need to trigger all the sell orders waiting at 17K, 71, 72, 73, and so on and so forth. On the other part, between 16.8 and 16.5, we don't have any big liquidity waiting, so it would make more sense to go down to 16.5 and to liquidate them here. However, as you see, that's nothing. That's really peanuts. So we are done related to futures. I don't see anything here that could be useful, so let us go forward. So let us take a look what's happening here. As you can see, nothing is happening here. If we go and zoom out, we see it's much more clear what they are doing as expected. At least here on Binance, we can see they are using that price level here to distribute. That's what's happening. And I mean, since yesterday, they distributed even more than 2,000 Bitcoins. Market traders. And that's really big. That's really big. Pure distribution happening. While, as you can see here, the aggregated, it's reducing, also indicating distribution, but not that big like on Binance. Why futures, for example, not doing it at all? Only Bitcoin collateral indicating they are shorting more than longing, but stablecoin collateral futures more longing than shorting. If we take a look to Bitfinex, yeah, Bitfinex not doing anything. Absolutely maintaining, not selling, not buying, at least related to CBD, distributed just a little bit, nothing big, that's it. Kraken here indicating distribution, nothing big at all, but they are distributing. If we check here Bitget pushing up, so it looks a little bit strange, because it looks like they would be the main driver of this, yeah, whatever it is. If we check Coinbase, also interesting what Coinbase is doing. So it seems they purchased here and distributing, even if it's not big at all, but they are not accumulating, or at least not buying more than selling. Bitstamp is extremely bullish, as we know, and yeah, they distributed just in little sequences and pushed up, and wow, that's Gimini. I mean, absolutely not big at all if we check the volume, but also here indicating pushing up, pushing up, pushing up more. However, it's not big. We are talking about a gap of 120 Bitcoin, so it's really... However, if we go, we check that retailers not doing anything, lifting up a little bit, not big at all. This guy's lifting up, not big at all, maintaining a level. This guy is declining, not big at all. I would also say it's almost neutral, declining a little bit. Market maker reducing more their balances. We received another low record, multi-year low record, 4,550,000. So yeah, far away from accumulation. While these guys here, mainly linked to centralized exchanges, are lifting up in balances, indicating they are receiving more Bitcoins. If we check, for example, Bitcoin on-chain analysis net flow, we see that it's almost flat. We are receiving now a little bit more Bitcoins. We can check that here, then it's better. So 6,000 bitcoins or something, nothing big at all. I mean, if we go forward and we check the balances of the exchanges, we can see it's going up more. So not big at all. We don't know. That's very foggy. Here we don't know how much they send, but taking into account the weights ratio, it makes more sense that the centralized exchanges balances related, or their reserves related to Bitcoin, is lifting up more. Nobody knows right now how much. Fund flow, yeah, just 2 days ago, you remember I have mentioned 2,000 bitcoins from the market maker. So using that area here once again to distribute, and send today in the morning another 800 bitcoins. So it's sending bitcoins and more bitcoins and more bitcoins just to distribute more. That's the only thing we can see here. Also here, for example, their reserves on bitcoins are lifting up. We are talking about, well, not big, maybe 7,000 bitcoins or something. So absolutely not big, while the market activity is declining even more. So reaching, I don't know, we can see that, reaching a level of September 2018. So it's extremely low. Even on futures declining also more and more. It's also a trend, and we can see that even on open interest, it's indicating that, yeah, the market is cooling down a lot. Miners reducing their reserves, but nothing big after they receive few thousand bitcoins, so nothing happening here. And we are done. Let us go to the next chapter. So let us talk about the exchange walls. And what we see on Coinbase is we still have this limitation here, and now they shifted this limitation to the upside. We have that here at 16.4, between 16.4 and 16.5, while they're still limiting at 17K. So nothing changed, just little changes. The only thing that's changing a little bit is the liquidity to the downside. They are reinforcing. And that's really interesting because we are talking about between 15 and 15.5. Not sure why it's happening, but it is what it is. So then let us check the next one, Deribit. What is Deribit indicating us? Deribit is now limiting up 16.5, no limitations to the downside. The next one, well, it's at 13,700. So far away, as you can see. Bitstamp spot, still waiting at 17.5, even reinforced that wall. No limitations to the downside. The only one is here at 16.6. Oh yeah, and we still have at 17K, also one of them. Binance, well, Binance still, as you can see, we have the sandwich, so they are really reinforcing even more to the upside. A lot of sell orders waiting there, but at the same time, we have here limitation at 16.6 and afterwards at 16.5, reducing liquidity at 16.2, and the next one at 16K. That's what we can see here. They removed even at 15.2, and that's it. So they are removing liquidity to the downside. Also very interesting what they are doing. So in my opinion, it's still a matter of time. Just patience. Something it's really unusual for crypto because we know how volatile crypto usually is, but not now. Bitfinex not doing anything, just waiting at 15.8. Also very interesting what they are doing. Why waiting at 15.8? Why we have here huge... Oh well, that's yeah, we have a lot of buy and sell orders, but more sell orders, for example, hitting 18K. OKEX spot, not doing anything. Kraken limiting the way up at 17K, but also nothing happening here. Bigger buy orders, the next one would be at 16K. Otherwise, they started even to bring some buy orders at 15K. Bybit, nothing to see here. BitMEX, I don't see anything here, to be honest. Binance Futures, we will see Binance Futures, how it looks like. We still have almost 1000 bitcoins more to short than to long, between, what was that, between 16.2 and 17.5. So a lot also here correlates very well to the spot. They are limiting the way up, while also waiting at 16.6, then at 16.5, then at 16.3, then it's 16, and they moved the liquidity at 15.2 down to 14.5, and removing also liquidity to the downside. So also very interesting what they are doing. Bitfinex derivatives, nothing. Kraken futures, wow, what happened here to Kraken? Looks extremely high. 9 millions, they purchased 9 millions and sold 2 billions, millions, sorry. However, nothing to see here as well. So it's 17.2, but that's it. OKEX futures, 17K, also waiting there, so limiting the way up. Also on OKEX swap, everything disappeared. We had some orders there, but not. And Bybit BTC USDT, so the tether pair also not indicating anything here as well. So that's it.